The story begins with an old cabin built deep in the middle of the forest. Here, a woman named Briner watches as some thugs brutally kill her husband. Those monsters think that no witnesses are left alive, so they throw both bodies into a deep pit and cover them with dirt. But their biggest mistake was that Briner was still alive. The bullets had not hit her vital organs. Briner was no ordinary woman. She was a soldier trained in the army. Her husband, Dylan, was a police officer. In fact, all this trouble started when the two of them had set out on a vacation trip. On the way, a truck driver dangerously overtook their car and hurled filthy comments at Briner. They ignored him and moved on. After some time, they stopped at a roadside diner. Dylan went to the restroom, and Briner was sitting outside alone. Just then, that same truck-driving thug returned. He started behaving even more disgustingly than before. Briner felt uncomfortable, but then Dylan came back and intervened. Abuse and an argument were about to escalate between the two men when an elderly woman from the restaurant stepped in. She calmed the situation and told Briner that the people here do not like outsiders. But you both seem decent. After that, the couple resumed their journey. In the forest, they met a female police officer who warned them that the people in this area do not treat strangers well. Hearing this advice, both of them became cautious. A little further ahead, they thought about setting up a tent, but it started raining. To take shelter, they entered a small wooden cabin. At first, everything seemed normal. Laughter, casual conversation. But then Briner found a hidden stash of weapons in one of the rooms. She immediately called Dylan and said that we need to get out of here. But by then it was too late. Suddenly, Bach appeared from behind and knocked both of them unconscious with the butt of his gun. When they regained consciousness, they were tied up in a dark room. Now the real nightmare began. Bach started torturing Dylan and forced Briner to watch everything. The situation worsened when one of Bach's associates revealed the secret that Dylan was a police officer. Now the thugs had no choice left but to kill them. Bach paused for a moment. Fear and hesitation were clearly visible in his eyes. He said, "I didn't know you were a cop. I'm sorry." But the very next moment, he raised his gun and, without thinking, pulled the trigger. The sound of the gunshot echoed, and silence spread through the room. Everything had changed in an instant. Now the real game was about to begin. As soon as the echoes of the gunshots faded, Bach ordered his men to pick up both bodies. Dylan and Briner were brutally dragged and thrown into a deep pit. Everyone believed that their story had ended forever. But the story does not end here. Suddenly, a flashback emerges from the darkness. Briner is seen going through intense training. In her eyes, an indomitable spirit. In her body, discipline. And in her walk, strength were clearly visible. This woman was no ordinary human being but a warrior, one before whom even enemies would think twice. Then the story returns to the present. Covered in dirt and blood, Briner's eyes slowly open. Like a miracle, she was alive. The bullet had grazed her body and passed through. She was badly injured, but she had not died. As soon as she regained consciousness, her first thought went to Dylan. But the heartbreaking truth stood before her. Dylan was no longer in this world. Crying, Briner covered his body with small branches and gave him a final farewell. Guilt was tearing her apart from the inside because this trip had been her suggestion. But that same pain awakened the strength within her. She remembered that she was a soldier, a fighter, and giving up was not in her blood. Dylan's death could not go in vain. She swore that whoever was responsible, she would erase them one by one. She stood up, picked up an axe lying nearby, and moved forward with the fire of revenge burning inside her. Her steps were firm, and her eyes clearly declared that justice was now her only goal. Meanwhile, Bach had returned home, but the atmosphere inside his house was just as dangerous as the forest. He and his sons, one of whom was named Crow, were torturing a woman. Their brutality clearly showed how ruthless this family was. Bach, drunk on alcohol, continued to abuse that woman while she kept trying to free herself. The entire town lived in fear of this family. Just then, Bach's mother entered the room and, stopping her son, told him to eat because there was still work left to do. She had no idea that far away in the forest, Briner was preparing her next move. She crafted a sharp weapon from tree branches and suddenly ambushed one of Bach's men, sending him to his death. This was the first victim of her war. She hid the body and vanished into the forest like a shadow. One by one, she tracked her enemies. She killed some and left others half dead so that they would crawl back and carry the news of their destruction. There was anger in every strike she made, but there was precision as well. To end Bach's terror, she set one of their important cabins on fire. The roar of the explosion shook the entire forest. Far away, old Sheriff Hobbs heard the blast and set out with his gun to investigate. On the other side, seeing the rising smoke, Bach and his mother grew restless. The mother immediately told her son to check it out. When Bach went into the forest, he found one of his men badly injured. He loaded him into the truck and set off in search of help. But he had no idea that Briner was hiding in the back of the truck, watching his every move. When Bach returned home with the bad news, his mother's anger exploded. She scolded him harshly for failing and slapped him hard. It was now clear that the foundation of their empire had begun to shake. The mother ordered him to find outside fighters so that they could strengthen their army. Bach went to an old acquaintance who lived alone in the forest and kept records about people. He asked him to dig up information about Briner. As the man flipped through the papers, he revealed a shocking truth. Briner was not an ordinary woman, but a special soldier who had received elite training. Hearing this, both Bach and his mother understood that the enemy they were facing was far more dangerous than they had imagined. Meanwhile, Sheriff Hobbs, deep in the forest, stumbled upon a dead body. It didn't take him long to realize that something big was happening here. He immediately sent a report to headquarters and informed them about the violence spreading in the area. On the other side, Briner was also preparing. She had set up several deadly traps throughout the forest so that no enemy could return alive from any direction. When the sheriff's team reached the spot, they identified the body. It belonged to a man from the same gang whose leader was Mother, the woman whom the entire area knew with fear and hatred. Now everyone realized how serious the matter had become. Hobbs had already grown suspicious of the situation, so he immediately demanded to meet Mother. A young woman present at the base delivered this news to Mother without delay. In fact, that same girl was part of Mother's network. Around the same time, the sheriff's team reported finding a body in the forest. As always, Mother acted cleverly. Hiding the truth, she fabricated a false story that the man had committed suicide. Hobbs understood that she was lying. Even so, he thought it better to remain silent and left with his men. The suspicion in his mind only deepened. That night, Mother and her people drowned themselves in alcohol while mourning the death of their companion. Slowly, everyone lost consciousness. Then Butch staggered to his feet, drunk. He had no idea that death was waiting for him in hiding. As soon as he entered the room, Briner was already lying in ambush in the darkness. In the blink of an eye, she lunged forward and slit Butch's throat. She had fulfilled the revenge for her husband's death. She stood there silently, just watching Butch take his last breath. But Briner did not stop there. While staying hidden, she witnessed another horrifying truth. A man was dragging an innocent girl into a room and locking her inside. And when she looked further ahead, there were several more girls imprisoned there. Seeing this scene made her heart tremble, and she decided that no matter what, she would set them free. Suddenly, one girl screamed loudly, alerting the guards. A gunman rushed inside and, without delay, started firing bullets. One girl was killed on the spot, but Briner kept her composure and, within a moment, killed the attacker. Then she took a girl named Emily and ran toward the forest, finding a safe place to hide her. When Mother received the news of Butch's death and Emily's escape, she was filled with anger and grief. She swore that she would capture Briner at any cost. With her men and dogs, she launched a large-scale search operation. In the forest, one of her men even found Briner's hideout, but Briner trapped him and killed him. Soon after, she shot down another enemy. That night, Briner and Emily sat in brief peace. A frightened Emily confessed that she was pregnant and feared that her mother would find her. Briner reassured her that she would protect her and give her a new life. Crying, Emily said, "We are sold here, and every few months, new girls are brought in to replace us." The next day, Emily was captured again, but the fearless Briner arrived just in time and outsmarted the kidnappers. Sheriff Hobbs was also there, wounded with a bullet in his leg. Briner eliminated the attacker and safely escorted Hobbs out. The injured Hobbs warned them that now they needed to mislead the enemies so that they would not find their location. After that, Briner and Emily escaped through the river route and met the female police officer who had warned them earlier. She told them to get into her vehicle. Exhausted, both of them fell asleep, but when they woke up, they found themselves surrounded by Mother and her men. The truth came out. That same policewoman was actually Mother's traitor planted within the system. After this, both Emily and Briner were subjected to torture. Forced by the situation, Emily revealed that she was carrying Butch's child in her womb. Hearing this, Mother ordered that Emily be separated, while Briner was to be kept imprisoned for further torture. But Emily secretly killed the guards and freed Briner. Together, they entered the room where Mother and her men were present. A fierce fight broke out. Briner eliminated the enemies one by one. But then Mother grabbed Emily by the neck and took her hostage, pressing a knife against her throat and spreading terror. In that chaos, Briner was attacked from behind, and Mother slit Emily's throat. Briner killed the attacker, but by the time she reached Emily, she was gone forever. Briner's heart shattered. "You did not deserve this fate. Forgive me." 3 months later, Mother was sitting peacefully in her garden when suddenly she received a message. Judgment Day. Before she could understand anything, a bullet pierced through her head. Standing at a distance, Briner watched the scene. Her journey of revenge was complete. Now she had neither anger left nor fear, only silence. She quietly turned away and moved forward, leaving her past behind.